A rasgueado is the name of the strumming technique used in flamenco guitar. The word rasgueado comes from the Spanish word rasguear, which means to strum, which originates from the word rasgar, which means to scratch, imitating scratching the strings. So this is the history behind the name rasgueado. There's a few variations of different types of rasgueados that you can do, but in this lesson we're going to be focusing on one specific one, which is the continuous triplet rasgueado, which is by far the most exciting, and honestly people ask about this all the time. This is probably the coolest guitar technique I've ever learned, and any chance that I get I will use this technique. The technique is a 3-stroke pattern which you can make as long or as short as you want. So let's break down what's actually happening here. So we start with a downstroke with the fingers, followed by a downstroke with the thumb, and then finally an upstroke with the thumb, and then repeat. So there's a few things that you need to really break down in this technique to really master it. The first one is to have a really loose wrist. And this is something that won't come straight away because your brain's got so much to think about with making sure every strum is happening in the right place and all the hand positions are now very new hand positions. It will be near to impossible to do this from the get-go. It's one of those things that the less you think about it, the easier it is. But in the beginning phases, you can't not think about it because you don't know what you're doing. So when you're first starting this, you just need to really make sure you're practicing it slowly, building up that muscle memory so your hand knows all the positions it should be in the whole time, which then later on will translate to the speed. So to break down the technique even further from just knowing what strums are happening, you can note exactly a couple of checkpoints that I'm going to tell you to know exactly where your hand and fingers should be at all times. So starting with your hand position, this is very similar to what I was saying in the previous lesson, that you really want to make the most of this twisting motion. So the first checkpoint is going to be palm towards you. The second checkpoint will be palm towards the guitar. And then the third checkpoint will be back of your hand towards you. And then from this position, you would then come back to that first position. So 1, 2, 3, back to 1. All we need to add in from here is what the fingers are doing. So in this first checkpoint, make sure your middle and ring finger are curled like this, so they're ready to do that first strum down into checkpoint 2. And then from here, you want to make sure that your thumb is nice and high, so it's above the low E string. So then all you need to do is twist to that third checkpoint and slightly flick your thumb down. And then from here, just come back into that first position with palm towards you and your middle and ring finger curled. So all of our checkpoints with the finger positions: checkpoint 1, middle and ring curled, to checkpoint 2 with the thumb nice and high, to then checkpoint 3, flicking down with the thumb, and then up with the thumb into that first position. Checkpoint 1, checkpoint 2, checkpoint 3, back to 1. You want to make sure that in each of your strums, you're as explosive as you can be to get that really aggressive sound from the strum. I want to again just touch on the importance of that twist in your wrist, because this is the biggest mistake I see when people first try and learn this, which is completely understandable because everything we do in the guitar is an up and down motion. Even when we're plucking up or down. So to now start getting this twisting motion feels really unnatural, and your mind will try to do everything to make you not do that and try and turn this into an up and down motion with your wrist. So you want to make sure when you're practicing slowly, building that muscle memory, make sure you're trying to keep your wrist in that same position, making sure you're not going up and down. As if you watch my wrist when I do this, there's no up and down movement. It's all in that twist. And it's the exact same thing as in the previous lesson, that you probably could get a pretty good speed going up and down. but you'll very quickly reach that glass ceiling where you can't go any faster because you're using so much energy in this up and down motion compared to the twisting motion. The ceiling is way higher. And that's where you get that really unique sound from the roll, where you don't hear the individual strums. It just turns into this continuous roll. Okay, so now to talk about progressing this technique when you're practicing.